Welcome back to Nick's Algebraics. So last video I was talking about operations with integers. So today we're going to build off that and we're going to do operations with rational numbers, and specifically we're going to do adding and subtracting. So before you continue this video, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. So our first question is to replace this circle with a less than, greater than, or equal to sign. So what we have to do is we have to get a common denominator so we could easily compare them. So what we do to find that is find the lowest common denominator, the LCD, of 3 and 6. So let's write out the multiples of 3 and 6. So for 3, there's 3, 6, 9, and so on. And for 6, there's 6, 12, 18. And as you can see, the lowest common denominator is 6. So to get from 6 to 6, we multiplied by 1 because it took 1 step to get there. And to get from 3 to 6, we multiplied by 2 because it took 2 steps to get there. So what we have to do is we multiply 2 over 3 by 2 over 2. Because what we do to the denominator, we also have to do the numerator, so the fraction stays the same. So when we multiply these by 2, we get 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. So 2/3 is the same thing as 4 over 6. And 4 over 6 is less than 5 over 6. So if you plug this into your calculator, you would see that 2/3 equals 0.6 repeating, and 5/6 equals 0.83 repeating. So it makes sense that 0.6 repeating is less than 0.83 repeating. So if they have a common denominator, then you just add the numerators up. First, let's do this conceptually. So I have a rectangle, and it's divided into 5 equal pieces. So this is 1/5 of it, this is 1/5, this is 1/5. So we start off with 3/5. And then we add another 1/5 to that. So in total, so together we have 4/5. So that means that 3/5 plus 1/5 equals 3 plus 1/5, which equals 4/5. So same thing with subtracting. We just subtract the numerators. So this is going to equal 7 minus 1/16, which equals 6/16. I mean, since these numbers are both even, they're both divisible by 2. So we could divide 2 to put this in simplest form. So it would be 3 over 8. So for this, we're going to subtract the numerators. And if you know your operations with integers, you know that 4 minus 7 is -3. So -3 over 9. And 3 and 9 are both divisible by 3. So to simplify that, that's going to equal -1/3. So if they have different denominators, we have to, again, find the LCD. So this time it's with 2 and 3. So for 2, the multiples are 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. For 3, there's 3, 6, 9, 12. And the lowest common denominator is 6. So for 2 to get to 6, we have to multiply by 3, because it took 3 steps to get there. And for 3 to get to 6, we have to multiply by 2, because it took 2 steps to get there. So basically, the 3 and 2 are going to switch. So we're going to multiply this by 3 over 3, and multiply this by 2 over 2. So 3 times 1 is 3, 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 times 2 is 4, and 3 times 2 is 6. So 3 6 plus 4 6 equals 7 6. So now let's do it with 3 and 8. So the multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12, and for 8, there's 8, 16, 24. So to get to these numbers here, we need more multiples of 3. So let's keep going. So 15, 18, 21, 24. So there we go. We reached 24. So to get from 3 to 24, we multiply by 8. And to get from 8 to 24, we multiply by 3. So again, we're switching it. So this is multiplied by 3 over 3. This is multiplied by 8 over 8. So 3 times 3 is 9. 8 times 3 is 24. Minus 1 times 8 is 8. And 3 times 8 is 24. So if you subtract these, 9 minus 8 is 1. So the answer is 1/24. So instead of finding the LCD, now we know that there's a pattern that for most of the time you're just going to have to switch the denominators. So this one's a 4 and this one's a 5. So let's multiply by switching it. So we're going to multiply this by 4. And we're going to multiply this by 5. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 5 is 20. And 3 times 5 is 15, and 4 times 5 is 20. So this is going to equal 8 minus 15 over 20, if you subtract the numerators. And that's going to equal negative 7 over 20. So last time we were doing operations with integers on a number line, so now we're going to do operations with rational numbers on a number line. So let's put 0 around right there. So we're starting with 2.5. And we're going back 3.5. Because when it's negative, you go to the left. So we're starting with 2.5 right here. And we're going to go 1. So now we're at 1.5. 2. Now we're at 0.5. 3. So now it's negative 0.5. And a half. So right here. So it equals negative 1. So if you're adding and subtracting rational numbers and they have the same sign, so if they're both positive or they're both negative, so for example 3.2 plus 2.4, so that's going to equal 5.6 because these two numbers are positive, so their sum is going to be positive. If they're both negative, so it's negative 3.2 plus negative 2.4, that's going to equal negative 5.6. Because since these two numbers are negative, their sum is going to be negative. If they have different signs, so if one is positive and one is negative, so if it's 3.2 plus negative 2.4, that's going to equal 0.8. So in this case, it's positive because 3.2, the positive number, has a greater absolute value, which means it's more positive than negative 2.4 is negative. So we could also switch this and make this negative 3.2 plus 2.4. That's going to equal negative 0.8 because negative 3.2, the negative number, has a greater absolute value. So that means it's more negative than 2.4 is positive. So let's do an example. So in this case, they have the same sign. They're both negative. So that means their sum is going to be negative. So let's add them together. So negative 3.12 plus negative 8.6. And remember to line up the ones place with the ones place, match the tenths with the other tenths, and match 1 over 100 to the others. So there's an invisible 0 here because 8.60 equals 8.6. So 2 plus 0 is 2, 1 plus 6 is 7, and bring the decimal point down. And 3 plus 8 is 11, so we're going to carry the 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2, and we bring the negatives down. So the answer is negative 21.72. So in this case, we have a double negative. So that's going to become a positive. Think of it as like if you're taking away debt, then that's a positive thing. So this is really negative 32.25 plus 42.5. So that's the same thing as 42.5 plus negative 32.25 if you switch it. So you're just subtracting. So 42.5 minus 32.25. So 42.5 is the same thing as 42.50. And now let's subtract it. So you can't take 5 away from 0. So we have to make this a 4 and that a 10. So 10 minus 5 is 5. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. And 4 minus 3 is 1. So the answer is 10.25. It has a positive sum because the positive number has a greater absolute value. So thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, comment down below, and turn on your notifications. I'll be posting worksheets with the solutions as normal, and have a great day.